All right, coming to you live for the first time on a Monday night.
What?
Talking about The Last of Us,
The
Season
most
1,
mundane of Mondays.
Episode 5. It was called Endure and Survive. And before we start, we have to say a special congratulations to old Matty Dubs. He finally lost his virginity and had a kid.
The Chiefs won. That's exactly what we're rooting for this weekend.
How's fatherhood treating you thus far?
It's nice getting 15 minutes of sleep a day.
50 minutes of sleep.
Oh, no, I wish. 15.
15 minutes of sleep at a time.
Yes, a day. That's all you get, apparently.
Oh, yeah, you didn't. Well, that's what you signed up for.
I didn't read the fine print.
And there's no return policy, so
it's like the Apple agreement. I didn't read what I was getting myself into. No, it's been great. He looks just like Justin. I couldn't be happier.
Lucky kid. It's just like damn it, I could never find them fast enough. So we're talking about episode 5 of season 1 of The Last of Us. It's called Endure and Survive. And Matt, what did you think? I know that you didn't get to watch it when it came out, but you did get to watch it today. So what are your first thoughts on this episode?
I liked it. I really liked a lot of the direction it went in. Just being in kind of a stupor state, there's some things that I'm going to need you to clarify for me. Like, I know they were in what, Kansas City, Missouri is where this one took place.
Right.
And it was pretty much the city was ran by Fedra, but then I guess it got overthrown and taken over by another group.
Right. Fedra had control and another group had rebelled and taken the city over.
Like, I just in my tired state, like, am I watching an episode of 2.5 Men, or am I watching?
that was the lady from 2.5 Men.
Yeah, where's Charlie Sheen?
Elijah Wilson says, "Congratulations on the new baby, Maddie."
Woo! Thank you.
Yeah. No.
Hey,
yeah.
Joe Daddy.
But so, what did you? Would you? I mean, I'd hate to skip to the. Well, first, let's not even. We'll talk about the bloater later. What did you think about the storyline there? I thought it was really good and really heartbreaking yet again.
Oh my gosh, yeah, the ending was another tearjerker.
Like, Sam and Henry, man, that was sad, and I'll tell you, that's pretty much lifted right off the game. The one difference is in the game, Sam wasn't deaf. That was something they added for the show.
Yeah, got to have the diverse. There's got to be a deaf person and a gay person and a some other inclusive character.
Well, I don't know about that. They just were.
I'm just trying to fill in for,
I was gonna say we don't need that. Don't don't do that. We don't need that.
I hated it.
No, please. No, they the kid that played him is actually deaf too, which was pretty cool. I thought when I saw the previews, like the sign language was going to be like something they did to keep quiet, but then they actually just decided to go ahead and make him deaf, which I liked. I thought it added a whole new layer because, well, I don't feel it was being inclusive at all. I feel like the world's full of deaf people, gay people, and
I'm just trying to be facetious.
Yeah, no, I thought it was really well done. I don't know. I want to know your thoughts more than mine because I loved it. So
I still like so just being perpetually exhausted since Wednesday into Thursday. So like, what exactly did Henry do to them? I mean, they were talking with Joel and Ellie, but like, what exactly did he do to piss off the rebellion?
Well, he was an informant for Fedra, and then basically his little brother had cancer, and they more or less were like, "Hey, if you give us up somebody, that might be in on a rebellion, we'll give you your brother's medicine." And that person he gave up was her brother, and they said her brother was a great man. So apparently, it hurt a lot of people when he turned him in. So it resulted in him getting killed, which is why she was so viciously looking for vengeance.
Yeah, okay.
And vengeance did not fare well for her because, man, that little clicker girl jumped on her and tore her to pieces, man.
Toe up from the flow up.
It was interesting because when she popped up, I kept asking my fiance, I was like, "Who is she?" And she's like,
yeah,
I
why
don't
is she so
know.
familiar?
She's like, why do I know her? And then, I was looking up her stuff and I'm like, oh my God, that's the woman from 2.5 Men. Or maybe Seth told us that. I can't remember. Somebody told us that. But I remember when we first saw her, I kept asking my fiance, like, who is she? Why does she look so dang familiar?
Ashley recognized her from last week's episode.
Well, and of course, the first thing my fiance recognized her as was the girl from Coyote. She was in Coyote Ugly, or either I think Coyote Ugly and Sweet Home Alabama. She's been in quite a bit.
Coyote was quite ugly.
So, what did you think? Because I'm going to tell you, I thought this episode was great all the way through, and then when they got to the endings there, and all of the zombies came pouring out of the ground, I thought that was an awesome
that
scene.
Was when they just that vehicle sunk into the ground. It's all come forth. So what exactly is a bloater? Like it just looks like a regular one, just like in just impenetrable fungus. He has insane fungus armor and then I guess superpowers.
So the bloater is someone who's been infected for quite a while. So like the where they are is, it depends on how long they've been infected, right? Like clickers have been infected for a while. Bloaters take years to develop. And more or less what you've got is their body is so encased in this fungus that it almost is, I ain't gonna say bulletproof, but it's very armor
resilient,
type, hardened fungus, and they're ridiculously strong. Like the clickers, they're deaf, but they are just insanely strong and they're super hard to take down. Like in the game, they're not fun to take down at all.
I still feel clickers is a very derogatory term.
Draco says, do deaf characters have to be played by deaf people? The Walking Dead has Connie and her sister. I don't think they have to be. I just think it's preferred because, I mean, not only is it, giving them work, but at the same time, it's, because I imagine as a deaf actor, it's a little limited as far as
what you can do, your scope.
What you can do. So you're giving them the work. And on top of that, you don't have to have someone like learn how to be or act like a deaf person, because in the sense of realism, it's legit, I
only want Academy Award winners playing these roles.
I kind of got an Anne Frank feel when they were up in the attic.
Yeah.
At the beginning, and that guy didn't come back. It was
baby not having a good time.
Do what?
Like your baby not having a good time upstairs whenever it's time to change a poopy diaper.
So have you not really? Has the baby not been letting you sleep?
Well, I mean, I think we're still getting used to each other.
still trying to determine who's the alpha of the household.
Yeah.
So far, is
the
he
first
winning?
one to cry loses.
So far, he's winning, isn't he, man?
Yes. Yeah, I was up. I think the hard part, at least for me right now, because I can't take any of my sleeping meds at night, because what that does to me.
Mm-hmm.
So that's an adjustment. But like trying to waking up and getting going is the hard part. But once you're up, it's not too bad. But I was up last night from 3 to 5 because Ashley looked at me. It's like you got to take baby for a bit. Like I need to get some sleep.
Well, and I think, being that you have a baby now, you'll understand things like this. And even though Sam wasn't Henry's son, he was his little brother.
Very fatherly role.
I think the whole point of this, really of this show, but especially this episode, is just the links you're willing to go to, because what is considered wrong to someone else may be entirely right to you if it saves the life of someone you love.
Yeah, someone that you're invested in. No, I totally agree with that. Like I'm definitely in it to win it with baby.
Yeah, I think that's what they were really going for this episode. Did you think that Ellie's blood was going to heal him when she rubbed it on there?
Well, working in the healthcare profession, a resounding no.
Matt was like, that's not how blood works.
Yeah.
That would be an interesting concept. I honestly, for a second there, thought they were going to deviate from the games and do that, because they've been pretty faithful to the games thus far. And I thought, like, okay, so they did deviate by not having spores, because in the game you had buildings full of spores, and if you breathe them in, you'd get infected. But it made sense in the show. They were like, that works for a video game. But in the real world, if spores were airborne, there's like no way they wouldn't get out.
Yeah.
And like infect everyone.
Oh, spores are everywhere on this planet too. Like it would be near impossible to avoid them.
Yeah, so it's like in the show they decided we won't do spores instead. We'll do this little hive mind thing because that wasn't in the game either.
Let's make it nice. Let's do s'mores.
So I think they, I was like, oh God, are they going to deviate and make like her blood actually cure someone? But then the next morning, the way he was sitting at the edge of the bed, I was like, oh no, he dead.
Yeah,
he a fungus zombie. He got the worst case of athlete's foot you ever seen.
It's my toes are so itchy.
That would be my nightmare. You know how much I hate feet. And it's like, instead of the Last of Us zombies, it's just killer foot fungus that turns your foot into the zombie. So like your feet are chasing people. Like, no.
Oh, after baby was born too, I told my wife listen, like this week I'm ordering a tub of those little skibbity pap hands just because he's gonna be a hit with the ladies on the beach.
I'm sure he is. So I'm gonna put you full screen here. No, I'm not. Yes, I am. No, I'm not. So what? So did you get to watch the entire episode? I know you watched it.
Yes, I did watch it in entirety tonight.
What did you think about the acting? I thought the acting was top notch. I thought the fellow that played Henry did a really good job.
Yes, for sure. Has he been in anything before too? He looked kind of familiar. I don't know if he's been in anything we've seen before.
I think he has. His name is Lamar Johnson. I guess he's been in a show called The Hate You Give.
Here's the hard part. Usually Seth's the one that's like pulling up like IMDb and stuff for all of us.
Well, that's what I have right here.
Yeah, I gotta do my own work here. This is BS.
Yep, I'm flipping back and forth. No, I thought they both did a fantastic job, and I thought that Sam did a really good job. He was played by Kevon Woodard, I think is how you would say his name. Like I said, he's actually deaf in real life. And did we mention last week? I think we did, but did we mention, the guy who got brutally destroyed by the bloater, is actually the voice
of head tore off?
Yes, he's actually the voice of Tommy, Joel's brother in the video game, which is interesting because in the preview from next week's episode, it looks like we're going to see Tommy and Joel reunite. So I'm interested to see that. What'd you think about the bloater ripping his head off? I thought that was pretty gnarly.
Yeah, that was that's a pretty tough watch. It's like why, like he just said like just go and don't look back. It's like, dude, you're about ready to get just completely eviscerated here. And he did.
I mean, I don't know. It's always you look at it and you're like, here's what you could have done, here's what you should have done. But I'm thinking like that bloater's coming at you pretty slow, and your gun's not working. Like, move maybe.
Like, just take a few step backs. Yeah. Just do the same thing. Just don't look back and move.
Sidestep a little bit. I honestly felt like I was like Austin Powers. The bloater's like, move. No, just move out the way. But yeah, it looks like Tommy and so I know you don't play the game, but for those that do play the game, it definitely looks like they are moving along in the story pretty quick, which a lot of the runtime in the video game is playing. So, but they are moving along at a faster pace than I would have imagined for the show, but it honestly feels pretty natural. Matt, I swear to God, if you're playing RuneScape, I'm getting off of here.
No, one of my work buddies was messaging me saying they got a card for us and Ashley, and you know about the whole granddad situation.
Yeah. All right. As long as you ain't playing
no.
I was about to say, I swear to God, I will let this thing keep rolling, and mark my words, they will see me come through your back door there in a second.
Just choke a bitch
and take your phone away.
No.
But more about the episode. I'm trying to get your opinion. You're giving me very short answers here. I want to hear you talk about.
I'm trying. I'm trying. I just took a little siesta before I got on, so I'm just getting myself kind of revved back up here.
How long of a nap did you get to take?
About 45 minutes. So I got some bonus sleep today.
Yeah, I think this episode was probably honestly my favorite so far. I thought it was just awesome. I loved the ending where Ellie leaves the "I'm sorry" on his grave. I don't know about you, but I found that to be particularly heartbreaking.
Yeah, that little magnetic pad they had to communicate, that was pretty cool. I can understand Henry being grief stricken, but to like take his own life too, and like his one job was to keep his brother protected. But man, like,
I don't know, man. It's hard to say, man. It's hard to say. Like I feel like it's just hard to say. I mean, like now that you have a child, give yourself time to get attached to it. And if like you just all of a sudden that child wasn't here anymore, you just don't know how you would react, especially if you were holding a gun. You know what I'm saying?
I've been put in that situation. But
and
Joel,
that
Joel made a really honest attempts. Like, dude, just give me the gun, man. Like, just like I know you're like this is a lot taken, but just give me the gun. And he just couldn't overcome it.
And plus, that was one I think they just didn't want to deviate from the game because that's pretty much exactly how it happened in the game. It was cool to get to see Ellie act like a kid. I thought she seemed like she would make an awesome babysitter.
Yeah.
like man, I could hire her to watch my daughter when I'm trying to watch this show.
Slicing her palm though to try to give some futile attempt of a transfusion to Sam. Why do people why do you slice your palm? Like that's like one of the worst places to cut yourself to get blood.
Where's the best place if you needed to rub? Well, no, never mind. Let's not even do that because the YouTube algorithm might think we're like encouraging people to do it. But just somewhere more veiny, I would imagine, if you need to use your blood to heal someone from.
If you want to transfuse someone, it's kind of best practice to use like a little butterfly needle and put into a superficial vein in your forearm.
There you go. Don't go trying to cut yourself.
Please do not. Yeah, this is not medical advice, but don't give transfusions via your palm.
No, it's not recommended, nor is it.
It doesn't work, and it's a bastard to heal.
You need to be. What would that be? A phlebotomist? That would be a specialty.
Yeah, if you're trying to just get blood, yeah, phlebotomy would be your phlebs or your veins.
Did you think that our villain was going to last any longer? Did you think she was going to be like a long-standing thing, or did you see her going out pretty quick?
After the ground caved in and all those clickers started bum rushing, they're pretty much toast. Like there's not gonna be a lot of people coming back from it other than the people in the title. But I thought she'd been around a bit longer.
Yeah, that's the thing about the show, man. I was telling you, like, you'll get other characters, but don't get too comfortable with any of them.
They would have survived if they've only done one thing.
Well,
had a tight V formation. If they had that,
for those that play the game, if you want to know the differences, because there were some differences in this episode. Overall, it followed the game pretty faithfully, but there are some differences, like the fact that Henry and Sam actually weren't from Pittsburgh, which is where the game's version of the storyline is happening, but had just come there from Hartford, Connecticut in search of supplies. So they had like no connection to a resistance, and just happened to be people who could help Joel and Ellie in the game. So in the show, they gave them a little bit more backstory with Henry's ties to Fedra and the resistance and all of that. That was all, added into the show. I guess it's just a different direction, but both the game and the show showed us a more childish side of Ellie, of her actually getting to play. And, it's kind of, and it's kind of showing like Joel starting to get close to Ellie because, I think I was watching, I think it was like the after scenes, whatever comes on after the episode.
Episode breakdown.
And they were talking about, like Joel seeing the two in the grave, Sam and Henry, and like, that makes him think like that could be him and Ellie. And it's kind of scaring him a little bit. But yeah, it was, I thought it was good. I'm trying to think of it. I mean, it's a lot. I mean, there's a whole lot in this episode.
Was Joel prior military as well, or was that just his brother?
Just his brother.
Because Joel's a pretty dang good shot too with his bolt action rifle.
Well, and you got to remember this is 20 years into the apocalypse. So at the beginning, he probably wasn't, but his time as being a smuggler and surviving in this world, he's probably had plenty of practice.
Had to hone his skills.
And we get to see. Did you watch any of the previews for next week's episode?
I want to say yes.
Because they show like
because they're out in Wyoming, because they finally get to Wyoming.
Which, for those that don't know, that's where Matt's from. Yeah. Matt's from Wyoming.
It's a fictitious land.
Let's give him the real sound effects people give to Wyoming.
Hey, that's half our population right there.
Hey, Mom.
How you guys doing? There's dozens of us, literally.
Anytime someone tries to tell you, like, "Hey, I'm from Wyoming,"
don't care.
How dare you disgrace the dirty dozen from Wyoming?
Or you hit them with one of these faces.
That's what we give the look to Coloradans. Technically, Colorado is Wyoming's Mexico.
That's true. Michael Myers says, has JP seen the show yet? No, he in fact has not.
Why not?
Do the bloaters have any weaknesses like explosions or grenades or RPGs? They are pretty susceptible to fire damage, if I can remember correctly from the game.
Bloating medications is what they're weak to. My tummy hurts. Here's some anti-gas meds. I feel so much better.
Throw the Tums at it. He turns back into a regular guy.
I'm cured.
What's interesting, if you look at the design of the bloater, though, I wish I've got a picture in the thumbnail. I wish I had one to blow up here, but it is interesting because they look like clickers in the sense like it's pretty much protruded from the brain. The eyes are gone. In the game, I think they had a slightly smaller mouth or actually a pretty small mouth, whereas in the show, he had a mouth full of teeth, which was interesting. But I thought that looked fantastic.
Oh, that little girl too! Like when Ellie was in the car, and that little girl clicker was doing that weird acrobatics to get in. She's like, that's creepy.
She was played. Let's see. I was reading about that. She was played by a very young girl too. I'm trying to see what her age was, but yeah, she was played by.
She'll be on the Olympic gymnast team soon enough here.
She's definitely got the limber. What's the limberness?
Limber, yeah.
And she's definitely limber
and flexible.
But yeah, I thought I thought it was good, man. Like just when stuff hit the fan, I thought the episode really shined because we really, at this point.
And then they all died. The end.
To be a zombie show, we really hadn't seen that many zombies. Like we've seen, a few, but The Walking Dead. By this point, you had seen tons of zombies, whereas in this show we've seen them, but it's been a little scant. But in this episode, they definitely made up for it. I mean, the times that the zombies have been on screen, I thought have been fantastic. Like the clicker scene in the museum was
intense,
awesome and intense.
The French kissing with what's her bucket.
Well, this still kind of weirds me out. But
the show has love; it has intrigue.
Well, the theme, really the theme of the game and the show is love. So, I mean, it definitely makes sense. I mean, that is truly the underlying theme of the show and the game is love and the lengths you'll go through for love. And
when the world ends, my one wish is to come to your house and get a kiss before we succumb to our doom.
French kiss and infect me too. I like
now
the little
kiss me, you fool.
I like the little face makeup. As somebody who you've got a twin brother, and I'm not saying that love is any less strong, but I've got a little brother. So, and he's quite a bit younger than me. So this episode really struck home for me because I imagine Sam's Henry's supposed to maybe be in his early 20s, late teens, and his little. So, that's about the age difference between my brother and I. So this one really, really hit home. But yeah, I was, so did your fiance, did your wife watch it? What did Ashley think?
Oh, she really liked this episode compared to last week. A lot more action, a lot more drive with characters and then their development and arcs. So she really liked this one.
I need to get you to start filming her reactions to big reveals. Because I know it made my fiance very sad with Henry and Sam's
that
demise,
that was a gut wrencher for her.
I really try not to spoil things for her, but this was the one time which she asked, but she was like, I got a feeling this is gonna get sad. They're not gonna make it, are they? And I was like, you don't want me to tell you. And she's like, no, I do. Tell me. I was like, no.
Yeah.
No, they are
not.
Gone. Not unless they're going to deviate from the game, which in the game, you get a little bit more time with them. And they kind of alluded like a little nod to the game, because in the game, there's a point in which you get pinned down and Sam and Henry leave you and Ellie. But you catch back up with them later, and Joel, they have a confrontation, but I think Joel realizes that like he probably would have done the same for Ellie. Like it wasn't that Henry betrayed him. Henry just did what he had to save his little brother.
Yeah.
And really, when you break down the games, I mean, that's really the theme of those games is just, again, love and the lengths you will go to protect people that you love, which mean you will probably, like we talked about a week or two ago, the links. Oh, no, maybe it was Jesse and I were talking about it on the retro reviews. But like, you know, when you love somebody like your kid, your brother, family member, whatever, and you truly love them, you will probably do some despicable things to keep them alive. I mean, you have a child now. I imagine if I would hope if I was in the house and somebody was like, you must kill Justin or your child, you're going to be like, sorry, bud, you got to go.
Sorry, little man. Trust me, little man, this hurts me more than it hurts you.
He's going to be like, I doubt it. Your wife is just going to be sitting there making that face at you like, just like, dude, what the
Dale face, then she'll come out like then we'll have like a whole side story for her coming after me for revenge.
But that is really what the games are about, and I think that's why I love the game so much. Is just that theme of like loving someone so much.
What you're gonna do to
the
to
links
keep
in which
protected,
you'll go through. Because I remember, parallel kind of to another show, another big show I love is Lost. One of my favorite shows, if not still my favorite show of all time. Not like it was perfect, right? But it was awesome. But so in Lost, there's a scene where this guy betrays the group, but he does it to get his son has been taken and he's trying to get his son back. And he betrays and I remember a long time ago, me and my dad talking about it. I mean, this is probably 13, 14 years ago. And I was like, you know, I hate him, blah, 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 blah. My dad's like, yeah, but until you have kids, you just don't get it. Like, as despicable as what he did was, like, you would do that in a heartbeat for your children.
Sorry, little man. No.
Louisiana McPatriot says, Justin looks like he's playing DJ at a Margaritaville rave. Makes me think that it's going to be some Jimmy Buffett techno out there somewhere. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. There's your Jimmy Buffett rave there for you, bud. But no, I thought this was an excellent episode. Honestly, it's probably, and I'm not going to lie. I know that not every opinion is the same, but I have absolutely loved this show from the beginning till now. And, you know, a little partial because I do love the games. I have said for a long time now, they're probably in my number 3 spot for like favorite games ever. It's no, see, one of my favorite game franchise, at least 1 through 4, was Resident Evil. And then now they've had some decent ones. But, you know, BioShock Infinite's like my favorite game of all time. And then it was like Last of Us. So it's like my 2nd or 3rd favorite game ever. So, I mean, of course, I'm going to love the show. But again, I ask you, I've asked this many times, and I'm going to continue to ask throughout the show's runtime. But as someone who does not play the games, that does not know anything about the games, what are your views on the show thus far?
I like it. Like if I think even on its own, it would have done good. But I'm really liking it. I really love the production value they're putting into it. I like the the characters are really nice.
You said what about on its own?
Like if it like wasn't based off of a game, like on its own, like if it's just a show that was just written for the sake of being written, like not based off of something.
You're saying you don't think it would be good?
No, I think it could hold its own weight, like to someone that's never played the game or like know its premise.
I got you. So you're saying even if it wasn't a game, you think it's a strong enough show that it could have made it on its own if it was just like an original story.
Yes.
Well, and it's not, honestly, it's a nice, in my opinion, it's a nice break because The Walking Dead is, let's face it, I love that show, but like the last few seasons were kind of cheesy, unrealistic action.
Minus Pope,
who the all-time great. You know, in The Walking Dead, it was good, but it lost character focus and all of these things. So in my opinion, going to something like The Last of Us, which does slow down and focus on characters and really getting into like people's emotional state during a situation like this. I think it's kind of refreshing.
They do hit you with some challenging scenarios.
Oh, just you wait.
Makes you think.
Just you wait. I mean, the thing that I loved so much about the first game is that there are still to this day so many videos out there on YouTube where the question is Joel really a good guy? Like, it's really all it's all based on your opinion, I guess, and your moral code, because there are good arguments for Joel being a good guy, but there's also plenty of good arguments that Joel's not really a good guy. Like he's done and does some despicable things, but really it just, I guess, stands to reason on what your viewpoint is on like how you should, what you should do to protect people you love.
There was the story kind of reminds me of this indie game, came out probably would have been 2016 or so, called Lisa. It's you're this guy that's in essentially a post-apocalyptic world too, and like your goal is to protect this this young female character from when she's a baby. And like the whole point of the game, like you're like she gets captured and you're trying to rescue her, and like your guy does some very despicable things too, like murders people, destroys communities, blah 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 blah, and just because he wants to protect his, this.
Is that a side-scrolling game?
Yeah,
Lisa the Painful.
Yeah, well, I think it might be it. That was
I've never played it, but I think I found it's he's holding a baby, so I think that's it. So is that an older game?
I think I want to say like, because this is when I was in school for X-ray. So it would have been like the 2016 timeframe, but that was a very good game.
I'll have to check that out.
But yeah, for whatever reason, like in the game, like all women are gone. Like this one little girl is the last known woman in the game.
Well, that's funny that you say like there's no women because there's no men. You said there was no women or no men?
Women.
See, and there's the opposite. There was a comic series that came out a long time ago that I really liked called Why the Last Man. And then it was the opposite concept. This guy was the only man left on Earth, and Earth was ruled by women. And like just one day, all of the men died, and he was the only one to survive. And then I got super stoked a while back because I saw they were finally making it into a show. And I was like, dude, that was such a good comic. It'd be great as a show. Completely forgot about it. Apparently, it's already gotten canceled midway through the season. Like it didn't make it very far.
Was the Last Man on Earth series?
Mm-hmm. No, Why the Last Man?
Yeah.
There was a show, Last Man on Earth, with Will Forte. I thought it was great. I love that show.
But you have this one group of people that want this girl because like they need to repopulate the Earth and restore humanity. But the dude's like no, this is essentially my daughter. Like I'm going to save and protect her.
That is very similar to the story of The Last of Us. It's like a man gets a surrogate daughter that other people want. That's pretty interesting. Like keep that in mind as we move through the show. That's pretty similar, actually.
A bit of a spoiler, though. Like the girl didn't even really want to be saved, anyways.
Oh boy!
But it was his sole mission to save this girl who didn't really want to be saving.
Matt, cover your ears real quick. So there definitely are some parallels, huh? I wonder which came out first, this or The Last of Us, because I'm seeing some parallels here.
But yeah, that's what a lot of it reminds me of, and like it was like the story of that game was just really good. You had to make some tough decisions.
Yeah, and see, that's like Joel. Joel has to make some tough decisions in this, I mean, you put yourself in Joel's situation, man. You've already lost your daughter, and now you've got this kind of surrogate daughter, and the thought has got to be there of like, I'm not going to lose another daughter. So it's going to get interesting, man. We are 5 episodes in. I think we've got 4 episodes left. I think I kept incorrectly saying in a podcast that we had 8 total, but I think it's going to be 9 episodes total. So we've got 4 left, and which is interesting because they say that season 2 is going to follow the second game, which means they're going to be moving pretty quick. And then I wonder about the future of the show. I wonder if it will be like Game of Thrones, where once the source material ends, the show will just keep going, or if they're just going to make the show up through, the second game, which I feel like the first game could be 2 seasons and the second game could be 2 seasons. So, I'm interested to kind of see. Before we wrap up here, Michael Myers has asked this twice, so I need to throw it up there. Have you all seen any of the new Super Bowl trailers?
Like the movie trailers for the Super Bowl, or like
the trailers
coming up to the Super Bowl?
The ones that played during the Super Bowl, like previews. I thought that Flash looks good, though I'm not going to lie, I cannot stand Ezra Miller, and the only reason I'm excited to see it's because Michael Keaton is back as Batman, so I definitely want to see that.
Yeah, are they doing like kind of like a multiverse thing?
Yeah,
like
it looks
Marvel's
like
been doing?
It looks like they're doing their own Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness or Spider-Man No Way Home, but with Ezra Miller as the Flash. And then the Guardians of the Galaxy trailer, to be quite honest with you, didn't look that good, but I'm still super excited to see Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Like, I don't need the trailer to hype me up. I'm stoked to see it on its own, but the trailer really didn't impress me. It's as far as it didn't get me hyped up to see it the way some trailers do.
Love and Thunder was okay. It wasn't nearly as good as Ragnarok, but it was okay.
I've heard that from everybody.
Yeah.
So I haven't. I'm so behind on Marvel. I haven't watched Love and Thunder. I have not watched the new Black Panther. I think there's at least 2 or 3 I hadn't watched yet, but I got to get caught up.
My brother said the Black Panther movie was also just okay, like nothing special.
I heard that from someone else too that said like, yeah, it was good, but it wasn't like,
it didn't have the a lot of the coolness that the other ones had, the coolness and just like how it just really resonates with you.
Oh yeah. It
was hard, man. Words, man.
I had said, and I know we're way away from, if you're just tuning in for The Last of Us, we'll come back to that as we wrap up here in just a second, but I promise you can go back and replay the video and we talk about it. But I had said years ago that when Infinity War and Endgame came out and in, that I didn't ever think Marvel would fly that high again. I thought that was like the peak.
Yeah.
Like that was like just the peak of it all.
I do think it's the penultimate that Marvel's put out, but they've had some other good bangers post Endgame.
They do. The Spider-Man movies have been good. I guess it's been Far From Home. That was
a good one.
That was after, Endgame. So that one and No Way Home were really good. The new Ant-Man looks pretty dope. I'm excited for that.
I do like the Ant-Man movies. That's probably is one of my favorite Marvel movie quotes. The one, like in terms of funny, it's like the Harbulary batteries. Harbulary batteries. That's nothing close to what I even said. And then when Hank Pym or when what's his bucket? Man, I cannot think of words tonight. Who's the actor that plays Ant-Man? Paul Rudd. It's like my days of breaking in places and stealing shit is over. So what do you need me to do? I need you to break in some place and steal some shit.
Yeah. So as we wrap this up, if you're just joining us, sorry that you called us on the tail end, but you can go back and rewatch the whole thing. Matt just had a baby, so if you want to send a congratulatory super chat, that would be awesome. But either way, don't forget to find us on Patreon, patreon.com/thepodcastingdad. It helps us support the channel because none of this stuff is cheap, unfortunately. Also,
it turns out when we woke up this morning, we did all the paperwork for baby's extended warranty. That's what I'm just calling, like getting appointments and stuff. I'm just calling it extended warranty for baby.
You get your vaccines. It's like, I need to extend my child's warranty. But you can follow us on Patreon. You can go to moviepalette.com, buy something from them and use the code podcast15. It helps out the channel. You can send super chats. You can send super thanks. All of those things help to keep this thing going. And I'm really trying
direct
to
check or cash the mail is also accepted.
Yeah, but then I have to give out my address. And
we should get a P.O. box.
We should totally get a P.O. box. But we're trying to up the production value on this. I'm probably going to purchase StreamYard. I've been saying that for like 6 months. But y'all, I'm busy. I just don't think y'all. I don't think some people that give me a hard time realizing how busy I truly am. But
one of my running jokes with Justin is that he works half days, and by half days, I literally mean half of a day.
12 of the 24 hours. So, we're definitely trying to, if you watch the retro reviews, those are coming out once a week now. We're going back and reviewing old Walking Dead episodes from the beginning with Jesse, who's never seen them before. And we're putting more production into those. So, trying to up the value in the presentation on this podcast. But Matt, before we wrap it up real quick, I'm going to put your full screen. I need you to show me your hands and give this episode a rating between 1 and 5. Again, this is rating episode 5, season 1 of The Last of Us. What do you give it?
I'm going to say 4.5.
That's not bad. 4.5 out of 5. I'm going to give it a solid 5. A solid 5. I don't know I don't know what I've given the episodes. I might have been pretty liberal with the 5s. I usually try to like withhold the 5s on like The Walking Dead, but for this one, I'm giving it another 5. It hit me emotionally. I thought the appearance of the bloater was fantastically done. And I mean, they, in the game, he busts through and he's an absolute nightmare to kill. And I think the show did a great job of showing you that bloaters are not here to F around. They are here to rip people apart.
So are there a lot of them?
I mean, I'm not going to say there's a lot, but there are certainly
a fair amount,
a decent amount. Yeah. In the game, at least in the game, you run into them. And then actually in the second game, there's a variation of them. What are they called? You have the bloaters and they have a variation called the
floaters. They fly.
Well, basically they're bloaters who have been around water a lot. And so they are more like skins hanging off.
Ew.
A little bit more grotesque looking. But yeah, so there are certainly more bloaters out there, and
they can take to the skies now with the floaters.
A 5 for me, a 4.5 for Matt. That's not bad. So make sure to come kick it with us on Sunday night as we do a after episode review of I'm getting tired like Matt myself now.
Next break Sunday, time's over. He's got to go back to Margaritaville to DJ.
I kind of like doing this on a Monday. Not gonna lie. I enjoyed it on Monday. The viewership's been a little consistently higher, and it gave me time to digest the episode before talking about it. So I don't know. We'll either be back next Sunday or next Monday. I'll try to put the link out there a few days ahead of time so you know. So make sure to join us. In the meantime, I'm Justin.
Matadubs.
And we're the Podcasting Dead. Catch you later.
See you guys.